If you're a female executive, you know how hard it is to find classic women's wear that looks tailored, modern, but not necessarily so modern that it stands out as fashionable in the wrong way. Here I've found 7 blue blazers for an executive who wanted pieces under $1,000. This first piece is from Lafayette 148. You might ask yourself, when I say quality oriented, what exactly do I mean? I care about primarily the fabric and the construction. And this is the first and least on my list because it's a nice enough made jacket, but it is an acetate polyester blend. I would strongly prefer either 100% wool or a high wool content. Moisture wicks better, it smells less when you sweat into it, it lasts longer, it always just looks crisp, and it has a luster that looks luxurious. They do a decent job with construction, and Lafayette is fairly accessible to most women. This is a fairly classic blue blazer. It does have some pick stitching that's done by machine, and it has patch pockets. Increasingly, blue blazers are worn not just as separates, but as casual separates, and the patch pocket adds to the casual nature of this while still keeping you business traditional. Lafayette 148, my first choice for a classic women's blue blazer. The next brand I want to highlight is LaFleur, and they actually have 2 sport coats on this list. These 2 blazers are essentially the same silhouette, the only difference is length. This is the Yasmine, and this is the Yiyan. Hope I'm saying that correctly, Y-I-Y-A-N. The Yiyan runs more petite than the Yasmine is. So if you prefer a dropped waist or a longer silhouette, go for this one. If you want a slightly more cropped or you're a little bit shorter, more petite, this is probably your better choice. These are 95% wool, 5% elastane, marketed as a washable wool twill. I probably would not wash them still. Dry cleaning is still, I think, the more safe way to go for taking care of your tailored pieces. It's hard to find a brand that is this dedicated to classic pieces that still have modern drape and modern twist while being accessible in price point as LaFleur. They're size inclusive and they have a good return policy. My next pick for blue blazers is this alley blazer from Hobbs. This does or is made of synthetic material. However, what trumps my preference for natural fibers is the price point and the accessibility. At $200 to $300, it's really hard to find a quality-oriented wool or wool-based blazer. They have a good website, they ship to the US, they're local to the UK, so this is a great pick. It's also very good if you happen to be a curvy fit. This garment runs a little bit heavy, so if you like the feeling of drape on your skin or it has a bit of protection or warmth, this is the piece for you. If you want a much lighter weight blazer, this is probably not the piece for you. My next pick is this fantastic coat from Paul Smith. This brand specializes in menswear by and large, and they make a very small capsule women's collection, and it's very quality oriented. The boundaries for women in the C-suite and executives in general are very narrow, unfortunately, so we're looking for pieces that adhere to those classic styling while introducing a feminine silhouette. This piece does a great job of that, and the styling itself is conservative without being frumpy or overly conservative. It has a decent size lapel, it has a semi-structured or lightly structured shoulder. This is a 100% wool blazer, and as they describe on the tag, natural wool is water repellent. It has natural stretch, that's because of the twist or crimp of the fiber. It has great crease recovery. This piece is lightweight. It will last you much longer than any of the synthetic jackets here behind me. You do pay a little bit more for that quality, but it usually is gonna last you longer, be more comfortable, and also look far more polished than a synthetic or synthetic blend piece. The last brand that I have for you in women's blazers under $1,000 is Ann Mashburn, who is the wife of Sid Mashburn, a very notable menswear figure. Ann Mashburn does a great job porting that same level of quality you expect from Sid Mashburn over to a women's collection. They bring that same artistry, that same know-how, and that same expectation of quality, which is very attractive to your modern female executive. This specific sport coat is based on the men's Ghost blazer, and I'll show you what that means. The Ghost blazer is unlined. This has no lining inside. That makes it very, very lightweight. It's also incredibly breathable. This is a 100% wool garment, fantastic construction for the money, a piece you'll have for many, many years. Classic, traditional, but accessible for years to come. You may find that in a business environment, you want to change this to a more classic button. If you're wearing this casually or with denim, for example, absolutely no problem. But if you're wearing this as part of a suit separates piece, then the button may be something you want to address. Something that I really like to see on a quality blazer like this is that the buttons are not finished, meaning there's no cut buttonholes. It makes alterations on a piece like this very, very easy. Any local tailor can take and open the buttonholes if you want, or you can just have it shortened and change out the buttons for something a little more business appropriate if you need. The last jacket I have is also from Ann Mashburn. The Parker jacket is a navy wool piqué. What that means to you is this is going to be a much heavier weight garment than the previous ghost jacket derivative that I showed you. The piece is also unlined. You can see really well taped seams inside. That's a sign of quality, absolutely. However, this is going to be more of a fall winter blazer, especially if you live in a warm climate. The ghost blazer is much more accessible if you want to wear it for season, if you're indoors in an air conditioned or heated office, or if you're in a warm climate and wear it in and out of doors. The wool piqué is also going to read slightly more casual than the woven that I've just shown you. So I would say that this is a great piece if your office environment runs slightly more casual. Ann Mashburn, fantastic brand for quality-oriented women's blazers under $1,000. That's it. That's 7 executive or C-suite women's blazers under $1,000. Were there brands that I missed, jackets that you might love that I should know? Leave a comment or send a message and let me know, and maybe I'll cover those too.